You're listening to the What is a Woman podcast, hosted by the Catholic Family Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the What is a Woman podcast. My name is Holly, and as always, I'm joined here by my mother, Mandy, and super excited to be back for another week. But before we begin, we'll start with Jesus, meek and humble
of heart, make our hearts like unto thine.
So, we're in July now,
and it's hot.
It's hot, moving right along for the summer, although we've had nothing but rain here.
Yeah, it's been very, I heard from farmer friends, they're having a hard time with the fields.
Although, I did remember every time I think about the rain or I complain about the rain, which you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because I read in Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, you should never even complain about the weather.
Yeah.
Because you may be annoyed that it's raining, but somebody else may need that rain.
Right.
So
God knows what he's doing.
God knows what he's doing. So ever since I read that, every time I go to start saying, "Oh, it's raining. How wonderful."
God knows what he's doing. You do not.
But anyway, so we're happy to be back and dive into this week's episode. Before we begin, though, I know my mom has a few topics, but I'm going to take the mic here for just a second because I did want...
Okay. Go ahead. This wasn't in the notes.
But I just thought of it as I was turning on the mic. I was like, I just thought of this, and I wanted to say it. I know we talked about our trip to St. Gertrude's last week, and I did want to give a special shout out because I know people do love the shout outs. I always got nervous about that, like, what if they don't want their name? But I know this lady in particular does love her little shout outs because she told me that. So but we're in like a steady mom chat too, but there were these three Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and the Heart of St. Joseph on the altar at St. Gertrude's.
Right, beautiful.
Wood carved, very beautiful. And I was like, I would love to have something like that in my home. So I went on a mission to find it, and I found these beautiful ones on Etsy, and I was like, oh, great. And then I'm just about to add them to my cart, and I'm scrolling through the pictures, and then there's a quote on the back.
Yeah.
From John Paul II. And I'm like,
no thanks.
So anyway, so I was so upset, and I kind of put it out in the chat that we're in. I'm like, I love those hearts at St. Gertrude's, and I went looking for some, and I found these, and da-da-da. But right away, Phyllis from St. Gertrude's, lovely lady, she was like, I bet you my son-in-law can make those. So she got on it, I guess, right away. And lo and behold, they're made and they're being sent to me. So I know a lot of people were like in the chat, they were like, oh, those are so beautiful, I want some. And then Phyllis commented, well, these ones are already sold. The first set is already sold, so those are mine. So
yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. And I was saying to them this morning, her and her daughter, it's her daughter's husband that's making them, I'm just so grateful that I was able to get these, but not only that I was able to get them from a traditional Sedevacantist Catholic family.
Right.
And I was able to support them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that was really something. So I'm sure they're going to be making them, and I'm sure they won't mind me putting this little plug out for them, because they really are beautiful. He did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to get them.
Right. And I have another plug for a person at St. Gertrude's.
My mom has another plug.
Yeah. While we were there at the girls' camp, they were having their show at the end of the camp. And
their little ice cream
and a lady was there selling her little handmade blouses. She had a whole table full of them. And her name is Marianne Sheeler. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure.
Right?
I think that's right.
So she said she's not in the business of making this. This was just a project for her and her oldest daughter. She had some time, so they whipped up these shirts. And I just thought they were cute as a button. So I bought 4. I have 4. I have 5 granddaughters. Well, I have 6, actually. Soon to be 7 granddaughters.
They're adding up.
But one's too old. And the other is a baby, and the other one's going to be a new baby born any day. So, ladies, if you could please keep my daughter in your prayers. She's about 3 days overdue now for another little lovely lady who's going to make their appearance. Hopefully today, tomorrow, hopefully very, very soon. So, add her in your prayers. But anyway, Marianne had these little blouses there, and I am always on the hunt for clothes. Like, it's like my mission in life. If I could sew, and I do sew, I'm not going to say I don't sew, but it's just so, I'm just not that good at it. It's not my forte, you know? Like I do a lot of cooking. I do a lot of crafting. Sewing I can do, but, you know, we just can't do everything, I guess. We got to leave some of this stuff for other people. So anyway, so I'm like, oh, because I always thought personally that if I was a really good sewer, I would go into the clothing making business, and I would make cute little outfits for women and girls. I thought I would totally do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she had these little blouses there, and I grabbed 4 for the age appropriate ones and brought them home, and they tried them on. And I had a little picture I put on my Facebook page of my little granddaughter. She's 6, 7. How old? She's going to be 7. Yeah, so she's wearing it. She just looks so cute in it. And I have a rant against children's clothing. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a rant about everything, but I really dislike it, you know? And this is why I'm always on the hunt for things that are cute. Yeah. Like, I mean, we have all these Instagrammer, what do you call them? Influencers with the children's clothing. Yeah. And they have all these kids wearing clothes that make them look cool.
Right.
Right? You know, like they got little, 3-year-olds in sunglasses and backwards hat. Like I'm talking about little boys, and they're wearing little outfits. And the girls too, like little black leather jackets or with pink I don't even know
what. They're
what.
trying to make them look like little mini adults or something.
Yeah, like they're trying to make, I hate it.
They're not really
hate it with every bone of my body. And plus too, like if you go out and you see kids out in public, they don't actually look like that. No. They look like ragamuffins.
Yeah.
Because what the kids are actually wearing are, these Walmart t-shirt clothing. And my granddaughters wear all these dresses, and it's very, very convenient. I'm going to say
the t-shirt dresses
that Walmart makes all these. China actually makes all these t-shirt dresses, but I find them to be shabby. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan.
Like, I mean, maybe the first time you put it on and it's crisp and it's new.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, but one wash or one play in it,
and the other problem that we have is like we got some little tall little girls, right? That the dress, and they're not even the dresses are actually usually too short.
Yeah.
So the moms are buying them bigger.
So that they're longer.
Like I know our little 10-year-old is wearing size 14 dresses just so they're long enough. But then they're sloppy.
Yeah.
Like they're falling off their shoulders. They're really sloppy. And I'm just like, okay, can we do something about this?
Like there has to be something else out there. There has to be
something out there. There has to be. And I mean, when you guys were little, I used to find it cute. Okay, I'm just going to make a confession right now. Yeah. Vanity is one of my worst things.
Right.
So I used to always want my little kids to look really cute. Yeah. Right. So I was always, but I used to be able to, when you were little, you had the cutest little outfits.
Yeah.
I actually like the little school rompers. Like if everybody could always wear a school romper.
Yeah.
I mean, in the old days, like when my mother was a child, that's what they wore.
Well, Grandma told me that they only ever had 3 outfits?
Yes.
Their school clothes.
Yeah.
Their play clothes and Sunday clothes.
Yes.
One Sunday outfit, play clothes.
They might have a couple of play clothes.
Random play
or
clothes.
Or a couple of school clothes.
But like not like what we have today.
Not what we have.
Closets
I mean, their laundry, they didn't have the convenience of the laundry machines, but they certainly didn't have the laundry that we have. Right. So there's that, right? It always seems like you get something and it just creates another problem.
Well, and
a mountain of clothes in your laundry room.
Yeah. And as you're saying this, I'm remembering from my childhood though, my mom used to take us to Fabricland.
Yeah.
And my mom made us skirts.
Yeah. And
you made
shorts.
Us skirts
I made you those
and
shorts
type shorts
that look like skirts almost.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we used to go I remember as a kid going into Fabricland and picking out patterns and going, I like this one. I
used to do a lot more when you were little.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just get at it.
I think you should just patterns
buckle down and make my own. Well, we have some really good, we got 2 really good sewers in the parish.
Yeah.
they can make their own patterns. I'm
Well,
not that gifted.
and on that subject, if anybody's looking for good sewing content, you can check out one of the sewers at our church. She started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And she was telling me on Sunday that she is so excited because she's up to over 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
And that's a big, I said, and she's like, I feel silly. I'm like, no, don't feel silly. I'm like, that's a big milestone.
It is a big milestone.
For when you're just starting out on YouTube. Now I can't remember the name.
So Today.
So Today. We'll put the link in the description.
If the link works.
If
they never seem to work. YouTube doesn't like you sharing information for some reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But anyway, so that's our little rant on if anybody.
But if anybody has not a channel, sorry, but if any mothers are listening and you do have a sewing business, and you do make children's clothes, please, modest Catholic girls' clothing, please comment and let us know.
Right,
if you're out there.
I just feel like we have to, I made this hashtag tag that I put. Make children's clothes cute again.
My mom always is starting a hashtag.
Make children's clothes cute again. Let's own it, people. I mean, I don't like this and I don't like that. So I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's not trendy.
Yeah.
But thank goodness it's not trendy.
No, we don't want. Have you seen trendy? We don't want to be trendy.
We don't want to be trendy. And you know what trendy is? Can we say the Kardashians?
Yeah, immodest is all it is.
Is immodest? It's of the world. It's of the world, which is what our chapter is about too.
Which is why we're leading into this. Yeah.
Yeah, pleasures. What's it called again?
The world and its pleasures.
The world and its pleasures, right? And clothing is right up there in that scenario. Yeah. So anyway, but I did want to talk about, because we're talking about the world and its pleasures, there's a couple categories that fall into that are hot button topics. And we're going to do our best to tackle them and
try not to ruffle any feathers.
And try not to ruffle feathers. But there's a lot of talk that always goes on over two in particular subjects.
Well, especially at this time of
year for women, and they are called the beach.
Yeah.
And makeup.
Yeah.
Right? Can you go to the beach as a Catholic? And can you wear makeup as a Catholic? So we're going to just dive into this a little bit.
Take it away, Mom. I'll just sit here and listen.
Okay. So first off, what you want to do, ladies. What I noticed years ago was we were having a hard time dissecting what is of God and what is not of God.
Wait. Before we get started, I feel like we never say this, and we know it, but we never say this, but we should always say this before we dive into any topic on this show.
Right, I know what you're going to say.
First and foremost, or at the end of all this, or anything, you should always consult your priest.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Just like that. I want you ladies to remember that for the show in general.
In general, yeah.
There is always that thing that you should, and Catholics should take this for when they're listening to anything on the internet.
Right.
You should always consult your priest.
He is your authority.
He is your spiritual director. He is your authority over you. He is your shepherd. He is your guide. Okay?
Right. Absolutely, 100%.
So now that we've
cleared that up, let's get into what Mandy thinks.
Oh.
All right. So anyway, okay. So what I noticed a long time ago when I was, being my armchair theologian.
Yes.
And I had this friend, and he used to think I was really funny, and he used to think I was very harsh too. Yeah. Like I was harsh and I was mean and I was this is wrong and you can't do this and blah, 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 blah. And so he made this joke about, rainbows and lollipops and puppy dog tails. And, I would find that, like, I didn't like those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa. I said, stop right there. I said, rainbows, lollipops, and puppy dog tails are all of God.
Yeah.
I have a problem with none of those things. It's the stuff that's not of God. And I realized that
Wait a minute. Sorry. Can you rainbows, lollipops, and puppy dog tails? What, like...
Well, he was making a thing like all that fun...
Just
innocent stuff, like love and kisses and hugs and like that. I was just all sternness and all hardness.
Right. Okay. Got it.
He didn't, and I said no. Okay, maybe I'm sending out the wrong vibe here, but I'm not really all sternness, right?
Yeah.
I'm all sternness against sin and things that are not of God.
Right.
But the things that are of God,
Yes.
we need to embrace that as Catholics, right? So a lot of times people, they can't distinguish the two, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and the beach is a good category to try to distinguish the two, because we're talking about the world and its pleasures. Now, the best way that I can explain this is by taking where I live. We live in Ontario, which juts down into the United States. It's like a little peninsula into the United States. And Ontario is surrounded by the Great Lakes. So if you ever come up to Canada to Ontario, you're going to come up to the tip of a peninsula, and you're going to drive on one major highway. And on each side of this is towns and cities and whatnot, and the Great Lakes, right? So if we go to the left of us, to the east of us, we're into Lake Erie, and we have a beach called Port Stanley.
Right.
If you go to the west of us, you're into Lake Michigan. It's Lake Michigan, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Lake Michigan. And we have a beach called Grand Bend. These two beaches are the main beaches in Ontario. Like, this is where you go for all the action.
Yeah.
They are very, very secular. They are very, very, it's like saying going to Miami Beach. You're going to Miami Beach. Should a Catholic find themselves at Grand Bend or Port Stanley?
100%
Not.
no.
Yes.
Definitely not.
When
There is no safe time. I can say there is no safe time for a Catholic to go to Port Stanley or Grand Bend.
Now, what you're doing is you're sticking your foot into the world. The world, its vanity and its pleasures. Right? It's not just the immodesty that's there in overabundance.
No, there's music.
There's drinking, there's caring. You might as well say you just went to the club.
Yeah.
Right? It's akin to going to the club.
They're party beaches.
They're party beaches, right? So when you go to these places, like we'll say even Miami Beach, which is famous, for being a party beach, you're stepping into the world.
Yeah.
You're in the world, and you're in the world atmosphere.
I'm here for a good time.
You're here for a good time. And this is not what Catholics want to participate in.
Right.
At all. I mean, the immodesty aside.
Yeah.
Right? The immodesty
Even
aside.
the
The whole entire atmosphere is not where you want to be. So this is what we're talking about dissecting what is of God and what is not of God. Right? Did God make the mountains? Yes. Did God make the oceans? Yes. Did God make the beaches? Yes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, let's just stop for a minute. God created the beach.
Yes.
It is of God.
Yes. So the beach in itself and of itself is not a bad thing. It's like saying the internet.
Yeah.
How much evil is on the internet?
Yes.
Tons.
You can't even count.
You can't even count how much evil on the internet or the television or anything. But I mean, the church, well, when the church was in a position to ban these things, they never banned them because there was always good too.
Yeah.
There was always good. So because people take it and turn it worldly does not mean there's not good there.
Yeah.
Right? So when we talk about taking our family to the beach, we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
If we can go to a place that's not worldly or saturated by the world.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, a lot in Ontario, like I said, we're surrounded by Great Lakes. So when you come up to Lake Erie, it's just fishing port after fishing port after fishing port after fishing port, all along the east coast of Ontario and all along the west coast. The majority of these ports are little fishing villages. They're not
beaches.
They're not Miami Beach, right?
Because I'll just tell you, I've been to a beach.
Yeah.
And it was all rocks and sticks. It was not a pleasant beach, but you know what? There was nobody there. Because nobody wanted to be on that beach.
Right.
So, we knew we could go, we could dress modestly, we would not be around anybody, we could pack a nice picnic, and we could enjoy
The goodness
one
of
of
God.
God's great creations.
And I'm going to say, I mean, I have a long history with the beach myself.
Yeah.
My parents actually met on a beach. And my aunt and uncle met on a beach. A lot of people met Port Stanley, this beach that I'm talking about, which is Miami Beach. My granny,
Like Miami Beach.
like Miami, like it's that atmosphere.
Yeah.
My granny had a cottage at that beach. So back in the, like, we'll say the 40s and the 50s, people didn't have a place to go for a holiday, right? You just didn't holiday.
People
You didn't
weren't
holiday.
just going off. And,
So where people went was to the beach, right? To basically leave a hot city. I mean, there's no such thing as air conditioning. There's no such thing as that.
Yeah.
So they'd go where it was cool. And I mean, that's why I appreciate the beach too. It's like, it's really cool at the beach generally, you get the breeze and you're not stifled by a hot city.
Yeah.
So they used to do, and my mom and my dad had my dad's family had the Penny Arcade at the beach. So I grew up as a little child in the back of a Penny Arcade at a beach. I have fond memories. I've never in my life been a beach person.
No.
Never. I mean, this was way before religion. I've never thought the idea of a good time was lying on a beach getting a suntan.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the good Lord allowed me not to have that love for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't, but I do in my old age, I do enjoy taking the children to play in the sand. Everybody, they all have on their beach attire, and even the moms, they have on their beach skirts and almost pants and shirts, and everybody looks completely fine and everybody is just playing. And that this is enjoying what God gave you. Get out of the city, a little relaxation.
And for me, people think I'm weird, but I love the sun.
Yeah.
I love the heat. I love to be hot.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
Because I hate it.
Okay, and I'm going to tell the story, and please don't think I'm the weirdest person you've ever heard. When I used to work... Okay, but to be fair to me, I used to work downtown in an office, and in the summertime, it was like working in a refrigerator.
Yeah.
They had the AC pumping. You used to have, you would sit at your little cubicle desk, and you would have what was called your office blanket. Because it was so cold in there, you'd be working, you'd have a blanket around you.
Right.
And I'm like, why is it necessary that we have to be this cold? Like, this is ridiculous. I get it's 34 degrees outside. That's Celsius.
Yeah.
But so then after the long day in the cold air-conditioned office, my favorite part was going out to my car and getting in my hot car. And sitting on the black leather seat. And
You're
being
weird.
like, oh, this car is so hot. I love it. But anyway, so but the thing I do love when you find a nice isolated beach, and I love sitting in the sun and watching the kids play in the sand and just getting that heat on you in the sun. I do like it.
Yeah.
And I'm fully clothed. I'm not in a bathing suit. I'm not sun tanning per se, because I will tell you one thing about me. I don't tan. Even I burnt my leg because I had these culottes on, and I had I'm going to say 4 inches of my leg showing. And that 4 inch of my ankle burnt to a lobster red.
Well, that'll show you. That'll teach you.
That'll teach me.
For showing the ankle.
Showing 4 inches of my ankle. But, it's like, but for me, it's like, and you see your kids playing in the sand, building sand castles. The other day were there, they buried their cousin in the sand, and just his eyes and his little mouth were showing, and they were having a blast.
Yeah.
Pure, innocent fun.
Yeah.
And it's like this sand was created, the beach was created. And if you're in a good, wholesome surrounding
environment
and you're modestly dressed and you're, there's no sin there.
There's no sin there, right?
There's none, you know? So that to me is it's all about discernment.
Yes, and learning when you're putting your foot in the world versus when you're enjoying God's world.
Yes.
There's a difference.
So yeah, if I took my,
I mean, you can.
and I would never do this, but if I took my kids down to Port Stanley and the music is pumping and the beer is flowing and the immodesty, yeah, sinful.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm also going to take it on the other spectrum. Like, people like to ski, right? And there is no immodesty in skiing.
Yeah.
But you can certainly. I'm not a skier. I've never been to ski, and I've never been to a ski club. So I'm just talking out my head, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that you can get to those environments that are very worldly and very secular, and the same thing is going on. The music is pumping, the people, the drinks, the atmosphere, the party is going on.
But there's no immodesty.
But there's no immodesty. It's the same thing.
Everybody's skiing and they're in snowsuits.
Yes, it's the same thing. You're putting your foot in the world.
Yeah.
You got to find little recreations that keep you out of the world and its pleasures, and you create your own pleasures with God.
Well, and because you know what? Let's take picnics, for example.
Yeah.
You could pack a nice picnic with your family and go to a park.
Right.
Not say we're not going to go to the beach. Beach is immodest. We're going to pack a nice picnic and we're going to go to the park.
Right.
But there's nothing saying
when you
get to that park.
Yeah.
There's not going to be immodesty.
There could be tons. There could be
tons.
There could be little girls in their short shorts and their little bathing suit top throwing a frisbee around.
So, in your opinion, what do you do then?
What do you do then? We come to this beach or this park.
We come to this park because we didn't want to go to the beach.
Uh-huh.
We just wanted a nice picnic, but yet here we are. We are still surrounded by immodesty.
You got to find the places.
So that's what I'm saying. We found a nice beach. I've been to other beaches too, tons of other beaches where I'm telling you, there is nobody.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be on these beaches. They're not good times, quote unquote.
They're not where the world is.
Right.
How can I walk up and down the beach showing off my bikini if nobody's
there to see me and I'm walking on rocks?
Right. So that's where you take your family.
So then you're like,
because these people don't want to be there. They want to be where the world is.
Right. Right. So you can find those beaches. I mean, a lot of them, I don't know what they have in the States, but a lot of them here, like they're provincial parks.
Yes.
They're parks per se where people don't really go.
And fishing villages.
They're not the
They're not like we don't live. Ontario's doesn't have any ocean.
Yeah.
It just has the Great Lakes around it.
Well, and for example, I live 24 minutes from the beach.
Yeah.
But like when you go to my house, you wouldn't be like, oh, there's a beach around here. Like there's no beach. There's no evidence that there's a beach.
Right. Right.
Because it's not the
beach.
Beach.
So anyway, let's do some discernment, ladies. Let's not just axe everything out. What we're axing out is the world. We're not going to the places of the world with their atmosphere. And this is the same thing with makeup.
Yes.
Makeup is makeup is a big hot topic button, okay? If you're wearing makeup today, are you wearing it like Kim Kardashian? Because that might be a problem.
The thing, this is the thing.
Like, are you wearing it because you're a drag queen? Like, that's a problem.
Yeah. And this is the thing here about makeup. The other thing about makeup is think about, and this is just my own personal opinion, think about when you put on your makeup in the morning, if you do wear makeup, how long does it take you to put on your makeup?
Yeah.
Are you standing in front of the mirror primping and priming and making sure every eyelash is in place, every hair, your eyebrow, every, and you're over analyzing your face and you're putting on pounds and pounds of makeup. And then then when you're done, you don't even look changed your appearance.
Yeah, because today's makeup is
because
like
that to me, in my opinion, that is the vanity of makeup.
Yes, right.
Me myself, I will tell you, ladies, and this may come from an angle of vanity, but it also is, I know that and we all know my husband's non-Catholic. I feel like I have to say that every time, but he does expect me to look presentable.
Oh yeah.
And when I don't wear makeup, he's like, "What are you? Tired today?" Or like, "What are you?" He does say that.
Well, he wants his wife to be pretty.
He wants his wife to be pretty. He's like, and when I don't wear a lot of makeup, ladies. Like today, I'm not wearing any cover up. I'm not wearing anything except for I took my mascara brush and I brushed it twice over my eyelashes. That is all I did today. Mm-hmm. And even just that will stop my husband from being like, "You gonna put some makeup on today?"
Yeah,
And I literally brush my eyelashes twice, but then he thinks I'm wearing makeup.
your
Because that's all he knows.
I mean, I guess I was never a natural beauty because your dad said to me one time we were going to go, and he turned to me, we were driving in the car, he goes, "You're going to wear makeup, right?"
Yeah, Jamie said that to me too.
And I'm just like, oh,
Oh,
excuse me.
excuse me.
But, and I don't wear much makeup, but it's just, a concealer.
Yeah,
To
it's not
smooth
a
out the
lot.
skin, a little bit of
in the
mascara.
In the summer, I tend to go without cover up because the sun touches my skin, and the sun really helps my skin. I think it gives it a naturally summer glow, which I'm
Right.
That's one of God's great gifts.
That's you got that gift. I didn't get that. I got the red tomato look. I don't know.
But then the winter comes and I'm like, oh, I look a little pale, a little drowned out. So I put just a daub of cover up in my hand and I just rub it all over my face. Like it literally, even when I do wear more makeup, and when I say more, I mean like a little bit more than mascara, it maybe takes me 5 minutes to put on my makeup.
So ladies, these things.
And I don't think there's any sin in that.
No, these things you have to discern. Am I going after Kim Kardashian's look?
Right.
That's following the world and its vanities.
Yeah.
Is this what I'm after? I can't even think of anybody else but her.
I don't. Well, because they're the ones that just stick out.
I mean, they're famous for being nothing. Like, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's ludicrous.
Yeah.
What the way their hair, their makeup, their nails, your fingernails.
Yeah.
I think you can put a little nail polish on and have your nails look pretty. But like when you go to these extreme,
I call them the talons.
Yeah, like it's okay. This is chasing the world. And you do stuff like that. It's extreme and it's chasing the world. And in our book here, in our chapter, The World and Its Pleasures, this is what it's telling us. Get out of the world.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean oh, you're wearing mascara. That's not what that means. That means you're chasing after their looks, their Hollywood.
Well, I'm even going to say, I'm going to even go so far as to say, and women, ladies, if you disagree with me on this, that's fine.
Yeah.
This is just my personal opinion, and this is the way I live my life, and I feel very secure in this.
Yeah.
Moderation with makeup in the way that even the makeup you buy.
Yes.
Okay? So, and this is, I'm going to tell you, my husband has a big thing with money.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I know that if I go to the store and I have to have the cover-up that is, and I know some women are going to shriek when I say this because some ladies don't even know this is out there. $80 a bottle.
Yeah.
My husband is going to blow a gasket. I don't need $80 cover-up.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I'm saying is there's makeup out there that is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
So I know, and I don't need it regardless. So this isn't even really about my husband. I don't know why I brought that up. But I buy the cover-up that is the cheapest I can find. The cheapest I can find is $9.99.
Yeah.
So far, that's the cheapest I can find, and it doesn't make my face break out.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that.
Right.
My mascara is $7.99.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. CoverGirl, the cheapest I can find. Mm-hmm. You don't, the moderation aspect of it too for me is in the cost of it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that is moderation. That is holding yourself back. That is not diving into the world and its pleasures.
Wasting all your family's money on your skin.
Your makeup and your skin and your,
Yeah, that's the vanity.
That's a
vanity.
In my opinion,
and
that's the vanity.
That's I mean, you want to be pretty. And I don't think there's St. Rosa Lima, I guess, she was so pretty, a natural beauty. You're familiar with St. Rosa Lima.
Yeah.
And she prayed to God because she was such an attraction to the boys that he gave her a festering boil in the middle of her head that stinked and pussy and gross.
Yeah.
And she was so happy.
I know.
If only we could be St. Rosa Lima.
I know. I get one pimple and I'm like, oh, there's a pimple. It's the size of a pinprick.
I've often thought about that. Oh, because she was so pretty and she just didn't want to be.
No,
she just didn't want to be. I mean, because honestly.
But that made her a saint.
That made her a saint, right? So, I mean, we can be saints too. But we have to have I heard tell, even in the convent, they make the nuns pluck their eyebrows. You know,
Yeah,
like
because you can't.
and I'm sure they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sure but you know, the Mother Superior will say, listen, people have to look at you.
Yeah.
You can't, you know.
Yeah.
So out of obedience, they would. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, and us as moms, like, who wants to go around with a unibrow?
Yeah. No.
You know, like, you do want to do the little things that are going to make you more pleasant to
Yeah.
look at.
Let's call it maintenance.
Maintenance. Yeah, we'll call it maintenance. You know,
You do need to,
you do need maintenance, unless, of
Yeah.
course, you want to be Saint Rosa Lima. And if
But
you
then
want to be
there's-
Saint
then-
Rosa Lima, then all the power to you.
But at the same time, there's nothing sinful in maintaining a pleasant look. And I say pleasant.
Yeah.
Pleasant. You know, like, okay, I'll say something really embarrassing about myself, okay?
Sure.
I get little hairs, black hairs on my chin. I don't know why.
Because you're a woman.
But I guess, like, and not a lot, but, you know, I have to pluck them, or I have to,
Yeah.
I got this little thing I was seen on TV, and I just shave, like, a little razor, like a little knife thing, right?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just shave them off, but they come back. But it's just maintenance.
It's maintenance.
You know?
Got to
Like,
do the maintenance.
I don't want to walk around with long black hairs coming
Well,
out
you
of
know,
my chin.
and you don't really. I do know somebody that was really embarrassed by their mother
Yeah,
and her look.
yeah.
This is a long time ago, and I thought it was really sad. You know,
Yeah.
like, you don't want your children to be embarrassed about you. I mean, and actually, it's a sin for them to be like
Well,
that. Like, you're never
yes.
supposed to be embarrassed about your parents.
Yeah,
But I mean, you want to make their job easier.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
I mean, and it's the thing, it's like, I feel like as long as you are not doing this because, you know, I need to look the best. And the other thing is too, is if you're doing this in the hopes of, like, people looking at you,
right.
especially if you're a married wife and mother,
You're trying to attract
and
attention.
you're trying to attract attention, that,
Yeah.
not okay.
Not okay either.
You know, like, that is not okay. But, okay, young girls who are looking for a prospective spouse,
Yeah.
okay? Yes, obviously,
Attraction
you want
plays
to
a key.
attract somebody because, you know, they're attracted to you for your personality and your character and your morals and your graces and your this and your that.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to attract somebody just because you're pretty, you know.
But that usually is the first step.
But that is the first step to, you know, like,
That the men are attracted to your physical appearance right off
Right.
the hop. Right? So, I mean, that's how you catch their eye.
yes.
You know.
And
It is
you know
what it is, sorry.
It is what it is, and you don't have to be a Kardashian to do that.
Well,
though.
they're gross. They're
yeah.
gross. And we have to wrap our brain. I mean, I would think that most of our audience would agree.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we're saying. That's of the world. Right? So you get your little notepad out, ladies, and put it up, of God, not of God.
Yeah.
And when you have to think about something, you say, is this of God or is this not of God?
Yeah.
And balance yourself out so that, you know, you're balanced.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what Catholics are.
Well, that's why I use
They're
the word
balanced.
moderation.
Yes.
Everything should be done in moderation. If you're doing something to the extreme, that you're not moderating it. You're not, you know, if everything is to the extreme, like, I'm going to go back to the makeup, you know. If you have to have the $80 eye creams, the $80 cover-up, and the, you know, expensive, the best of the best, that's not moderation.
No, that's not moderation.
It's not moderation.
It's not simplicity,
It's
which
not
is
simplicity either, which is
the virtue.
The virtue for July from cultivating.
Or reserve.
Yes.
Reserve.
Yeah.
You know, it's not modest. It's not chaste. It doesn't. If you go under all those virtues that have to do with being chaste or modest, none of it will fit in there. But, you know, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to do the maintenance and do the care.
Let's take hair, for example.
Right.
How awful would it be if I got up in the morning and I had, you know, tangles in my hair, knots in my hair, and I walk by the mirror and I'm just like,
oh, God's will.
This is good, God's will. I'm not gonna brush my hair, and I go to church with like that.
Yeah.
I would be a distraction to everybody sitting in that pew. They'd be like, She didn't even brush her hair for church.
Yeah,
What's wrong with
actually,
her?
I believe in the virtues. I should have them in front of me right now, but there is a virtue
Of keeping yourself
of yes, it is a virtue
presentable.
that you have to keep yourself presentable.
Yeah. Like
It is a virtue. I'm
like
going to
you
look it up
can't-
and find out what the name of it is.
I mean, I think hair is a perfect example of that. You can't not brush your hair.
Yes.
Like, you have to brush your hair. I wake up in the morning. I think there's nothing wrong with brushing my hair, putting it up in a nice clip, or even braiding it, or putting it back, or
Yeah.
even straightening it.
Yeah.
And then brushing my my eyelashes twice with mascara and walking out the door.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think, I think we have to do our very best to make Catholicism look appealing too.
Yes.
Like you're beacon of light, right? And I mean, I've said this before because you look at the Mennonites, they're not much of a beacon
No, I don't.
because you just look at and say, "Oh, gosh, thank God I'm not them,"
Yeah.
and you kind of move on,
Yeah.
right? You don't.
Nobody's like, oh, there's something about those people. I want to be that.
Yeah, no,
You
they
know?
just see a harsh, sterile life.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you look at a Mennonite.
Yeah.
But anyway, have we exhausted this subject?
I think we have.
And have we been of any help? Hopefully
I
we
hope
have.
so.
Ladies, get out your notepad of God, not of God. Lollipops and rainbows and puppy dog tails are of God. They're not.
Kardashians are not.
Kardashians are not. Right?
I don't think we needed to say that, but so do we want to read a little bit from our book?
Sure. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Did we not exhaust
No,
every?
we got 20 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then-
So this first paragraph here.
Okay.
Now this first
'Cause
paragraph.
ladies, we are still on. Well, actually, we're almost done the world and its
This
pleasures.
first paragraph that you're going to read, I'm going to actually have you read the whole thing
Okay.
because it's very long, and I had to. This is one of those paragraphs that I actually had to. I'm not grasping what they're saying here, so I had to do a little bit of praying and a little bit of studying to figure it out. But you go ahead here.
Okay, so, quote, women, even when still young, will frequently bear with impatience the yoke imposed on them by the world. The noble instincts of their nature revolt against this degrading slavery and aspire to more elevated regions. But false notions of duty, of propriety, and apparent necessity carry them away and triumph over their repugnance. Habit, which plays so important a part in life, and which renders tolerable the most painful things, which renders even almost necessary what was most irksome at first. Habit softens by degrees what was disagreeable in the usages and formalities with which the votaries of the world are obliged to comply. The mind and the heart, in proportion as they lose their primitive vigor, accustom themselves more easily to a kind of life that requires no effort from the nobler faculties of the soul, and in which mediocrity is sure to surpass endowments of the first order. End quote.
Okay, so who understood that?
There was a lot of big words in there.
And a lot of back and forth, and I was just like, okay, they're saying this is wrong or this is good, anyway,
Yeah.
but I had to read it, and I had to read it a lot. So when I finally dissected it down, what they're saying in there is that a young girl, so, you have a young girl, right? So
Yeah.
we'll take your average 12 or 13-year-old young girl. If she's raised in a religious household, which the book is assuming the girl is, right? So at first she is totally disgusted by the world. Mm-hmm. And you can see that if anybody has 12 or 13-year-olds, they've been raised in this innocence and purity, and they don't like what they see as the world.
Right.
Right? They see you'll see 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, look at their immodest clothing. Like the kids pointed out all the time. They're repulsed by it. Mm-hmm. They're totally repulsed. And that's their natural order of things as a child.
Right.
So by the time they get to, 14, they start to get to 15, they start to get to 16. What happens is they start to conform to the maxims of the world based on what they think a woman is.
Right.
So this is what this is saying. So and I've seen it. Well, I saw it with you guys.
Yeah.
Your preteen selves would have been disgusted at your late teen selves.
Oh, I love when you use this as an example.
but you would have been.
No, I
So
know.
I mean, unfortunately, ladies, this is an area where you're going to go down the road with your young girls.
Well, and that's why I having lived through what I did
Mm-hmm.
and feeling that shame and that this and don't get so excited
Yes.
when your preteens and your girls are like, this is bad, this is immodest, and don't go, oh, my kids are going to be fine.
Yeah.
That does not mean, like, and I'm not saying
they're not going to be
but
fine.
just you
but according to the book, and I've lived
it's normal for them to do that. That's normal.
That's
but that
normal.
doesn't mean that as they grow, they're going to keep that. Like
innocence
what I'm
and
saying
pure.
is,
Actually, it calls
what
it,
I'm saying is
in the book it calls it a nobler nature.
Right.
They have a nobler nature at the preteen age.
Right.
Than they do.
So all I'm saying is don't sit back and go, I'm good here.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they won't. I'm not saying they will. But I'm just saying you have to be very careful not to just let go of the reins then and go, I'm good here.
Right. You have to keep praying, and you have to keep praying, and you have to keep sacrificing that they hang on to this. Because according to, I just made some notes here, and I'm just going to read it, right? So they're impatient and disgusted by what the book calls the yoke of the world.
Right.
They see it and they're disgusted by these women, right? But they soon, out of a false sense of duty and notions, they say, well, I'm becoming of age, and this is what a woman is, and this is what I have to become. Mm-hmm. Right? So they start to move towards that with, as we were talking about earlier, like hair, makeup, nails, those type of things. So they start to become the women that they see that they want to, they want the boys to be attracted to them. Right. They want to grow up, I guess. Yeah. So, right. So the maxims of the world and the worldliness, like the Kim Kardashians or the Hollywoods, or I don't even know who's popular besides Kim Kardashian. Yeah. And I don't even know why I know Kim Kardashian, except she must be everywhere. Yeah. So anyway, they start to conform themselves to these people, right? The clothing gets a little more immodest, the hair gets a little more elaborate, the makeup gets a little more, the jewelry gets a little heavier. Like all this thing starts to happen. So more, it says here in our book, more often than not, she develops the idea, I have to play the woman game, right? Yeah. And so they start to do this. So it starts to wipe away their religious repugnance that they originally had. Right.
Well, because now they're in the game.
Now they're in the game.
It was easy to have the repugnance when you weren't
in the game. Right. And now they're in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So, and of course the book tells us that habit starts to be formed, right? These habits start to be formed. So I guess what we have to do is, with our young girls, is we have to get the habits well formed in them before they start playing the woman game.
Right.
Because once they start playing the woman game,
if the habits aren't formed, it'll be too late.
It'll be too late. The vanities will come rolling in like a steam engine. Yeah. And all these things we talked about, the beach, the makeup, they'll be wanting to go where the action is.
Right.
They won't be satisfied with a quiet beach, Well,
unless you've formed that habit.
Right? You form that in the and we've been down I've been down this road. You have to, young girls have to get to a place where they are Catholic because they want to be Catholic, not because they have to be Catholic. Yeah. And as they grow, you will start to find who is pulling away and who is not.
Right.
There was a line there at the very end, and I kind of the formalities with which the votaries of the world are obligated to comply. Votaries, I looked it up, is a fancy word for followers of the world.
Right.
How you have to live when you are a follower of the world. Right. So this is again, this all fits into the beach. It all fits into the makeup. right? And it's for our young girls,
Yeah.
and we may have to prepare ourselves,
Right, because I
or
mean,
hopefully not.
hopefully not, but you do have to prepare yourself because they are going to grow. And they
Yeah,
are going to go off, and they are going to, even if you don't send them to school or whatever,
yeah,
they may get a job.
yes.
They may be around people that aren't the best influence.
And they're going to be
You are
standing
not going to be
there.
able to keep your kids under your constant protection and care as they grow.
Right.
They naturally want to go out and discover for themselves. So, you have to build that, for lack of a better word, strength, I guess, in them to discern that I shouldn't be in these places, not out of fear,
Yeah,
but because I love God
right.
and I don't want to offend him. Yes, fear of God is the first gift of the Holy Ghost, but it has to go further than that.
Right, right.
I don't know because I'm not there yet.
Yeah, you're very close
But
to
I'm
it.
very close. So from what I can see and what I'm seeing for myself, the fear is not enough.
Yeah,
The fear is not enough.
right.
There has to
Well,
be,
that's what that paragraph just said.
because you have to think, and I'm just going back to my own teenage youth. I had the fear. The
Yes.
fear was implanted.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you, when you're a teenager, and I may be wrong, but this is what I thought.
Yeah.
So you can't say that I'm wrong because this is how I felt. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying every teenager feels this way. But when I was doing the things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, I was like, I got a long life ahead of me. Like it was like,
Yeah.
I'll settle down when I'm older. I'll be more serious when I'm older. I'm a teenager now. I'm here for fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And actually, you know what? It's not even, I don't even think I actually thought that much about it, because all you see is fun.
Yes.
That's all you see is I'm here for a good time.
Yes.
I'm here for a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not thinking about anything else,
Right.
right? So if you don't, and I'm gonna say, not to put my mom on the spot,
Ooh, hot seat.
but my mom had some cards stacked against her,
Yeah.
but the how do I put this? The secular was just so much.
It was way too much.
It was way too much when we were kids.
way, way too much.
And I don't know how that happened. I don't know why it happened. I don't know.
Well, we were very secular people.
But I'm telling you right now, if I'm going to be honest with you, ladies, I am in the same boat.
Yeah.
So I see how easy it was for my mom. I have a husband who just wants the secular all the time.
Yes.
And you're constantly fighting the secular. I'd like to take my TV and chuck it out the window.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I cannot do that because I've saddled myself to a human being who just wants TV all the time.
Yes.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very hard for me to fight the secular. So when my husband's not around, I have to just
Yeah.
try as best as I
Settle
can
down.
to be
Well,
like,
we have a little bit of an advantage that I didn't have. There's a larger group of us now.
right, yes.
There's a larger group of us.
There was nobody.
There
was one family for
one
us.
family and grandparents and
Yeah,
and
so-
you had and your cousins, but
Yeah, but
it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. So, if you're fighting the secular, I'm just telling you from experience.
Yeah.
If there's any ladies out there who are in the same situation as me and you're like, I'm just fighting the secular, the fear is not enough.
Yeah. You
You have to find
really
ways to foster the love for our Lord.
Yes.
And the best way the best way I have found so far to do that
Yeah.
is by trying to do little things that are totally Catholic centered and just make them pure joyful the whole time.
Yeah.
No complaining, no mute, no like keep the secular out of it,
Yeah.
but keep it a very happy thing.
Yes.
Keep it very joyful.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the best way I think to do that is to involve our Blessed Mother.
Right.
If you involve our Blessed Mother and you pray to our Blessed Mother and you say, I need this to be joyful, please please, Blessed Mother, please help me.
Yeah, yeah.
I need this to be joyful. I need your example. I need your,
We have to provide as much joy and good time.
Well, because there's been times where I'm like harping on the kids.
Yeah.
And I get a little sermonizy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, she's not even listening to me. She's over there, and I can just see her.
Yeah.
Rolling her eyes and like, yeah, whatever, Mom.
Yeah.
But that's a teenager.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to be sermonized.
Yes, yeah.
They don't.
No.
I'm sorry, but they don't. Like,
That's
we've
a
all
shame.
been teenagers once.
That's a shame. You guys got a lot of it.
But I'm just saying, I personally, this is my own humble opinion, I don't think the sermonizing works.
It doesn't.
You have to bring the joy, and you have to bring, we have to bring the good time.
Yes.
And when I say the good time, the good Catholic time.
Yes. Maybe, a secluded spot on a beach with a beautiful statue and saying the rosary and playing in the sand
and just, no, you don't need music. You don't need... Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. I'm just trying to say, so I'm getting to that part. Well, actually, I think I'm already there.
Yeah, you are.
Where I'm like, now the sorrow begins, I feel.
Yeah.
But I don't want, I want to keep the joy.
Yes.
I want to keep the joy, and I'm just praying constantly that, I don't lose my top.
Yeah.
My cool. My...
Yeah, blow
my biscuit, because I don't think that's helpful.
It's not helpful.
So...
We know that. We know it's not helpful. We just have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
We know what we should be doing. We just have a hard time doing it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's so frustrating, I find. All the fundamentals are there. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of spiritual reading. I do a lot of... I know what to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say, when push comes to shove, and it's your turn to step up and do what you do, all that spiritual reading I did doesn't come right to my mind.
Yeah. The anger comes.
The anger comes. So, but that's the devil.
Yeah.
That's the devil. He's always going to be there. He doesn't want you to succeed. He doesn't want you to...
Yeah.
I shared something to our stories on our Catholic Homestead Instagram. Somebody shared it. I believe it was in the Set of a Contest Society, that there are 3 things that the devil hates.
Yes.
The name of Jesus, the name of Mary, and the brown scapular.
Right.
So, those 3 things, and I just look at my kids and I'm like, please don't ever take your scapular off. Ever.
Yeah.
Please just leave your scapular on.
Right.
So there's many things that I'm praying for, and I'm sure a lot of the ladies out there are in the same boat. So add me to your prayers. I'll add you to mine. You know?
Well, the best way to do that is to get a confraternity
going. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
and that's where I think the confraternity is very helpful for mothers. Those kids that are reaching those teenage years.
Yeah.
Because then you got to think, you're praying for your kids, but there's a whole slew of mothers out there that are also praying for your kids, and you're praying for theirs.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful thing.
It's a great thing.
That's a pretty powerful
It's a great thing to think about.
It's very comforting.
Comforting, yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have a confraternity going at your church,
start one.
And if you're not sure where to start, just comment under this video, message us or whatever, and...
The Mother Love Book.
The Mother Love Book is a great place to start.
Can you put a link to the Mother Love Book?
I have before, but...
put another one.
I'll put another... Well, no, the problem is the place where I linked it's not available anymore. So I would then have to find a new link, and I really don't like just randomly linking books.
Oh, okay.
You know how I feel about that.
Okay.
With the... because you just don't know what you're getting anymore. But I believe it was at Angelus Press.
Uh-huh.
But I'll try and find it again. So, that takes us pretty much to an hour. I know we only read one little quote from our book.
And we only have a little bit left.
We only have a little bit left.
But it's this
is a very important chapter.
And it's kind of the world and its pleasures. We have get the paper out, ladies. Of God, not of God. So you can say to your kids, well, this is not of God, but this is of God. Mm-hmm. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go to Port Stanley, but we'll go over here. where we can
it's-
bring God with us.
Yeah, where
You
it's
know,
remote and
you know,
quiet and
we don't want to
peaceful.
follow the maxims of the world.
Yeah.
We don't want to put makeup on that makes us look like these people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to dress our children in these cool clothes. I call them cool clothes for lack of a better word. But
Modern
hip.
hip
I'm going to tell
clothing.
you too, another, like, you're in the DIY world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting chasing trends.
Oh, exhausting. It's like you're just like, oh, this is trending. Okay, I gotta do this. Oh, we're moving on to something else now. I'm like,
And I mean, we
oh
had
my
that. We had a
word.
retail store. It was the same thing. You constantly had to
Chase trends.
chase
And
the
I'm over
trends.
it.
And I consider that is so worldly to
Yeah.
chase the trends.
To chase a trend, yeah.
And just say, no, this is who I am.
Well,
I'm me.
even I'm gonna say, even in the Catholic world, and when I say Catholic world, I'm using that very broadly. Like,
Yeah.
I know, novice order and all that. We don't.
There's
But when you go,
the whole spectrum of Catholic.
I'm talking about when you're looking for like things for your home. Let's say
Right.
good religious imagery, good not posters, pictures, statues,
Yeah.
etc. There's this whole level of Catholic out there that is chasing trends
Yes, with the Catholic
with the Catholic
imagery.
and the artwork and they make all these things and they make it look modern so it fits in with their decor,
Right.
their farmhouse decor or their whatever. And for a while back there, I will admit, I tried to make Catholic fit with my image.
Yes.
Like, so I'll have the statue, but it's got to be white.
So yeah.
No painting, no, and so then it just sit. And then I'm like, you know what? That's so
You
wrong.
were chasing the trend.
I was chasing the trend.
And that's like chasing the world.
Yes, and trying to fit Catholic into that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I don't even like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I put, and it felt so fake to me.
Yeah.
It felt so fake to me to put all these new, pretty looking, and I'm like, that's not Catholicism, though.
Yes.
That's not our true Catholic faith. And so, and then so I'll tell you, I decorated my piano last night. I got a new to me piano for free off Marketplace. And I wanted to decorate nice. So I made my own picture, which was nice. But then, I put my little St. Anne statue there. I put my St. Lucy statue there. I put my Mary thing there. Nothing really matches per se.
Ooh.
But it's all Catholic.
Yeah.
And it's true Holy Catholic. And I thought, you know what? That brought me such joy.
Yeah.
And such peace to do that and not worry about how it actually, quote unquote, looks.
How it would look in a designer magazine.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed of myself that I fell prey to that.
Well. I mean, of all the things out there, it was relatively innocent.
No, I know. Like, there's
decorating your home, but it's still following the world.
Following the world.
It is still following the world.
So, anyways, that's just a little bit 2 cents on that. And I mean, I feel like we could talk about following the world forever.
That's all we do.
We could go on this chapter forever, but eventually we will finish it.
Yeah, we will finish it.
But anyway, so I guess that's all we have for today. So before we go, I hope that everybody has a very blessed and holy week. May our Lord bless you and Our Lady guide you always. And Saint
Teresa, pray for us.